Hey everybody, and welcome to my 7-day Thought Snob challenge. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here with me, and I am beyond grateful that you have trusted me to help you ignite changes that are going to greatly enhance the quality of your life. If you participated in my 30-day manifestation challenge, then you are absolutely ready for this one. I designed the 7-day challenge for the more, let's say, advanced spiritual seeker. So this one takes you much deeper into your spiritual transformation. The lessons are based on the 7 spiritual laws for success. And if you aren't familiar with those, you will be by the time you complete this 7-day challenge. Each lesson includes a mantra for the specific spiritual law you're studying that day and a Sanskrit mantra. Now let's talk about these Sanskrit mantras for just a moment because they were foreign to me until here recently. Sanskrit mantras have magical powers because the vibration of the sounds actually causes things to manifest. So it's like, be careful what you wish for time. Use these mantras as you feel most comfortable. Usually they are pronounced how they are spelled. So don't get too wrapped up in pronouncing them correctly. You can chant the mantras aloud or repeat them silently to yourself. For now, I just want you to get used to using them. We'll do a live workshop at some point that will be focused on the mantras and the correct pronunciations. Before you start, I want to have a little chat about what a thought snob is. I know you've never heard of this concept because I am the first spiritual leader to develop it and introduce it. My thought snob concept spawned from a statement that was made to me repeatedly when I was a kid and on into my early 30s. Whenever I mentioned doing something out of the box that my upbringing sequestered me in, my dad would say, "Girl, you're getting above your raising." Anything I mentioned, that was his standard reply. So after hearing that about 100 times, I believed it. And that belief hindered my growth. It hindered my growth because it fenced me in. I felt like I had to conform, and I did. I took mediocre jobs, settled for abusive relationships, and dumbed myself down to fit in. But one day, I flipped the script. I was probably 30 years old, and I was talking to my dad about my dream of becoming an author. And he sarcastically laughed and said, "Girl, you're getting above your raising." And without a second thought, I blurted out, "God, I hope so." And right then and there, the thought snob was born. Just by making that one statement, I broke the cycle of conforming. After that, I started thinking and saying to myself, I am better than that. I am better than that shit. I would say that anytime I encountered something that resembled scarcity, conforming, sadness, and any other negative person, place, or thing that I wasn't an energetic match for. So, here's where I came up with the term thought snob. We have our food snobs, our bourbon snobs, clothing snobs, and then we have those snobs that people don't typically like because they think they are superior to people who have less material assets than they do. There are all types of snobs, and the word snob has historically had a negative connotation. But in our case, being a snob is a wise thing. Let's use our clothes snobs as an example. Okay. A clothes snob will settle for nothing less than a designer label, right? Therefore, you are never going to see these people shopping for clothes at, let's say, Walmart. That would be a waste of time and energy because they know Walmart doesn't carry what they're looking for. So they turn their nose up at those cheap clothes and move on to where they fit in. They feel like they are better than cheap clothes, so they position themselves in stores that sell the clothes they love. This is how I want you to behave when you encounter abuse, neglect, humiliation, scarcity, fear, jealousy, worry, and any other negative person, place, or thing that doesn't reflect who you want to be. And whoever you want to be, that's who you truly are. If we're going to be snobby about materialistic things, why aren't we snobby with our thoughts? Materialistic things are never in a million years going to create our physical realities, but our thoughts will, and they do. Why in the world would we allow our minds to become landfills? Think about that. Thoughts of scarcity, fear, worthlessness, jealousy, hatred, and revenge, all of those negative thoughts are the same as hazardous waste. They corrupt our worlds because they attract our greatest fears when felt for extended periods. So we have to interrupt all of that. We cannot allow any old thoughts to seep into our subconscious minds and live there rent-free. We must be extremely selective with our thoughts. We must be downright snobby with our thoughts. And when a thought tries to creep in that doesn't reflect whom we intend to be, we must turn our nose up at it and immediately think, we're better than that. We are better than that shit. The repetition of doing this will reprogram your subconscious mind to believe things that serve you well. And the result is the creation of a new physical reality that is joyful and worth living. Those who have known me for a long time wonder how I have accomplished what I have. And they ask me, Paula, how did you feel wealthy when you were flat busted broke? How did you manifest perfect health when you had so many health issues? They ask me these types of questions all the time. And I've struggled to find short answers to such profound, complex questions. But one day, the answer hit me like a freaking lightning bolt. My world became a healthier, happier place when I started viewing it objectively instead of subjectively. I started considering the hard facts versus the opinions of others. Here's an example. I was raised to believe that women weren't capable of supporting themselves financially because men were the ones who made the big bucks. Women couldn't obtain wealth on their own, so they must depend on men for their resources, which meant women were the weaker sex and should behave accordingly. There was a time when I believed that, but when I realized it was a subjective belief system, I started weighing the facts, as any wise person does. Facts are that millions of women have obtained enormous amounts of wealth. Look at Dolly Parton. Look at Oprah Winfrey. My God, look at Tina Turner. God rest her beautiful, courageous soul. I come from the same source as they do. And since God doesn't bless one person more than another, I'm just as capable of accomplishing what those great women have, and so are you. I am really getting above my raising here right now. Thank God. If I hadn't, I would be punching a time clock today, right now, at a factory, instead of living my life purpose. And it makes me sick to even think about it. So again, thank God I got above my raising. And you can too, if that's what you want. Over the course of 7 days, you will engage in hands-on, real-world exercises that help you incorporate the SNOB method into your daily life. SNOB is my acronym for Search for New Objective Beliefs, SNOB. I bet if you reflect on your upbringing, you'll find that most of what you were taught was rooted in subjective beliefs. And that's just a real nice way of saying that most of what you were taught to believe was probably a bunch of made-up bullshit. And just so you know, this challenge is based on the content of my new book entitled Thought Snobs Get What They Want. The subtitle is 7 Bougie Behaviors That Transform You from Broke to Badass. You'll be the first to know as soon as this book is ready for purchase. Maybe we can work together to speed up the process. I would love for you to envision yourself buying my book and reading it and loving it, of course. So as you go about your exercises, please know this challenge, just like the 30-day manifestation challenge, is not day-oriented, so spend as much time as you need on the material. It's really best to go at a pace that you feel comfortable. There's no need to rush. I encourage you to talk about your experiences within our private Facebook group. You have your very own Manifest Mafia that is there to support you when you need it. All of us are at different stages in our spiritual growth, so there really aren't any stupid questions. Our Facebook group is full of non-hating, like-minded people who want the same thing. We're all on the same page because what we're after is a wonderful life that is full of joy, wealth, perfect health, and wisdom. So, I'll sign off for now and let you get started on your first lesson. But I want to tell you something first. Many of you know that I am studying under Deepak Chopra. I was in class the other day, and one of my professors said, "It's not your job to make anyone feel better." I thought about that statement a lot. And after much pondering, I decided that I disagreed. It is my job to help you feel better. If you don't feel better after working with me, I haven't carried out my life purpose effectively. So with that said, I designed this challenge to help you feel better and sustain the feeling of feeling better for the rest of your life. That's what I want for you. And again, thank you for being here. And keep in mind as you go about your daily spiritual lessons that anything is possible with God as your silent partner. And anything leaves out nothing. Namaste.